We're live on Spiritual Psychics TV with Paul Bannister and his guests for Spiritual Talk.
Hello everybody and welcome to Spiritual Talk here on our home at SP TV. Good to be back. It's Thursday evening. It's 6 o'clock. I hope you're enjoying your dinner. Well, put your feet up and enjoy this show, because tonight we've got a brilliant show tonight. We've got a different take on Spiritual Talk. We're actually not going to just interview, if I can get my words out tonight, interview one person. We've actually got four. We've got at least one half of a paranormal team. So I'm so excited. And this lovely lady as well is Terry. Hi, Terry Rae. She's already given it away. Who's coming on? Hi, guys. Let us know. It has. That's true. That's true. I was keeping it a secret. Anyway, we have a great show coming up, guys. We got some little video clips as well. And but let us know where you're coming in from. It's good to know that I'm not sitting here alone talking to myself. And also, it'll be great if you can share it out, guys. We love your support, and get on that share button, because I'm sure the gardening club would love to know about paranormal experiences. Hi, Christine. Let us know where you're coming in from, guys. Good to see you. Let us know whereabouts you are in the world and what time it is there. Are you having dinner or are you having lunch? Let us know what you're up to. Hi, Melody. Good to see you. And happy birthday as well. A recent birthday, Melody. Good to see you on here, all the way over from America. Hi, Eva. Nice to see you too, Eva. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Eva's from Sweden. Absolutely. And Richard's in the background. One day, you know, we might get Richard on screen. You never know. Hi, Krish. Hi, Krish. It's good to see you. Yeah, Krish, I believe you're in South Africa. And we got Ed from Cambridge. Hi, Ed. Good. Great that you're here tonight. I have a funny feeling you might know this team in our background. And Christine. Hi, Christine. Oh, she's coming from Caterham in Surrey. Oh, that's rather posh down there, Christine. Rather posh. Shall we crack on with the show? Oh, Helen's coming in as well. She's watching from Bristol. But like I said, guys, please support us. Please share the show. Get it out there and let people know that we are here. Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. She's coming in from Belfast. So, oh, hello, Bill. Good to see you. And guys, after us, we got Bill coming on with his guests as well. So stick around for that. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have, I almost said a band of reprobates, but that wouldn't be true. And I'll get into trouble, because I'm proud to say that this lovely lady that I know very well, who is here tonight. And it was touch and go that she was going to be here tonight, because she's not been well, she's had a few little hiccups with her health recently, shall we say, but she's back. She's fighting fit. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my good friend Linda Rae, who is the founder and medium for MSI Paranormal. Also in the background, a band of merry men. We've got Dennis McCubbin, we've got Michelle Gator, have I pronounced that right, Michelle? And also Paul Butler. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, oh, you're not quite live yet, so we'll just wait for the system to load up, and you'll be up on our screens any second now. Ta-da! Here you are. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. It's great to see you all here, and so many people love paranormal experiences because it makes things real, doesn't it? When we go out and we go and find spirit. But guys, I want to ask you one question. How did MSI start? Who I know, Linda, you're the creator, but what was your motivation to start the paranormal investigation?
Oh, crikey. Prior to that, I was a consultant medium quite a while back, and was brought into it to consult with another paranormal team. And just kind of liked it, but didn't quite like the way it was being run, so to speak. So it was a case of, right, eventually I decided to sort of set it up myself. And we've gone from strength to strength. We were created in 2008. And Dennis, who is with us tonight, was one of my first investigators that came on board with me. So we just went from there.
Brilliant. So I want to talk to you about a married man, if that's okay. Hi, guys. Okay, I'm not sure if it's anyway, moving on. No bad jokes, or I'm trying to resist my jokes. But guys, I know these lovely people. I've been talking to them and arranging this interview for some time. These guys are glad. Well, they've come on to share their experiences. And boys and girls, you've had some brilliant experiences, haven't you, over the course of a period of time that you've been with MSI. Can you share with us some of the experiences?
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
Some of the things that have really stuck out.
I'll go first then.
Yeah,
you're the first one.
I'm still one of the newbies with MSI. I've been with them just a mere 5 years now, and I've loved every minute of it. I've met some really, really good friends, and Dennis here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've visited some fascinating places. We've recently done Shepton Mallet, which I'm sort of going through hours of video at the moment. And in fact, we've got some little clips later on, hopefully, of what we've found on one of the first DVDs I've done. But yeah, I sort of do a lot of the camera work, which I think puts me at a bit of an advantage with the team, because I can actually see in the dark with the infrared and everything. So it's always nice to see what people are experiencing and sort of watching their reactions live, so to speak.
Yeah. Can you guys create this at home? Because there'll be a lot of people around the world that won't be or won't have never been to an investigation. So can you create the scenario and the scene when you turn up? What do you do? How do you do it? And go from the kind of the beginning of the evening, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so basically we get there, and Linda then starts telling us what our jobs are and what we've got to do and who's got to do what, and hurry up quickly, we need to get this done, and come on, we've got people waiting. So yeah, so more address, I'll let Linda finish now. Now I've got my bit in, she can carry on from the beginning of the night to tell you how it goes.
Well, once everyone's there, obviously we do work with the public as well. Sometimes we like to do teamwork, but in working with the public is once everyone has arrived, we double check that obviously all phones are on airplane mode. Yeah. But more than anything else is health and safety, is to check that everyone is okay. We would have already, if we can get into the places, have done a risk assessment. And with the risk assessment, we tend to use Paul because he knows what he's doing. And then it's like dividing as to who's going into what groups. No one is allowed to go off on their own. It's been one of my rulings from day one. So there will always be a couple of members of the team with each group, and then they can split around and do what they need to do. We normally work for about between an hour and a half, and then we'll have a break. Just a kind of a small break, and then off again we go, and we rotate around the different areas of where we can access. And you know, we're as professional as we can be, but obviously we do like to have a laugh as well, because I feel that this keeps the vibrations up. It keeps everybody's energy, you know, alert, and so they know exactly what they're doing. I mean, I can't fault my team. They are very professional.
Linda, can I stop you for a sec? I'm so sorry, guys. Why do you not allow people to go on their own? People will ask that because some people are saying, why is that? That's quite interesting.
Because obviously I have to have insurance, and in my case, I feel it is my responsibility to keep every single person as safe as I can.
Yeah.
And if someone was to go off and say, oh, I'm going to go down that road down there, and something should happen and we can't reach them, we normally have radio contact within the team and the groups, but it's just one of my rulings. Due to a very bad experience that I did experience back in 1996. From then it was like, oh, whoa, okay, that is not going to be happening again. So that's the only reason why I set that rule.
Okay. People would be dying to know what that dark experience was. I know it's 6 o'clock and guys at home are eating their dinner. So yeah, we don't want to create an illusion of The Exorcist, but it wasn't obviously not a very nice experience.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So it's really important. So, okay, can we just quickly talk a little bit about the technical side of stuff, some of the equipment you use and how you capture that, please? I'm not sure. Michelle, do you do that as well? Are you allowed to touch the cameras?
I am allowed to touch the cameras, yes. I do help out with the technical stuff as well. So yeah, we've got a whole array of different technical devices that we do use. Obviously, we have our skills with mediumship as well. So sometimes you do get spirits saying, well, I don't need to set all them pretty lights off because I can talk to you. But we like to, so the public can see physical evidence on a machine. Sometimes that helps them as well. So we use things like K2 meters. We use them quite a lot. We've had some good evidence on those. I mean, the list goes on.
Hold on. You got to remember, I'm stupid and I need all the help. As I demonstrated tonight, I had no sound, guys, and I couldn't hear myself. And these poor guys were sitting there going, what is Paul doing? You know, so please, can you just tell us what a K2 meter is?
Okay, a K2 meter is a device that helps detect EMF. Which is electromagnetic fields. Yes, and that helps. The spirit world is full of energy, and obviously that device will obviously pick up on the energy, and we get lots of pretty lights shine, so everybody can see. So the closer they get, we get more lights, and we get yes and no responses. You can ask spirit very kindly if it's a yes or a no to a question. Could you maybe bring the light up to green or red or orange? And we've had some fantastic evidence of that happening before. So it's amazing. Spirit's so clever.
Okay, I'm not sure. Carol was asked, Linda, were you on the chase? I don't think you
No,
was.
I wasn't.
No, well, you wouldn't turn it down if it
rating.
was offered. So coming back to you, Michelle. So it's an added addition to what you're investigating. What other equipment? Well, actually, I know it's already. Actually, Dennis, what camera have you got? You got a special camera.
Yes, we've got the SLS camera, which is a structured light sensor camera.
Thank you.
And it works on it works on the same concept as which you would have with a Wii or an Xbox. It maps what's in front of it. So it tries to follow an image. So you'll get a stick image come up, and there might not be anything there for it to be able to map, but we've got footage and things like that we've sent through. We've got some very good footage over the years. So that's basically, we've got a full spectrum camera which we use with either night vision or full spectrum, and we've got camcorder as well as just cameras. And Paul works with both of those as well. So we work and put them together, and then Paul will go and view all the footage and then connect them all up. So
yeah. So you're the technical brains behind it all, then, Paul. You bring it all together, all the film stuff together, and produce it.
Basically, yeah. I suppose on average we record 4 to 5 hours of video per investigation.
Wow.
We done Wiz Beach Castle recently, and Michelle had her camera running as well, so I had sort of more or less double that to go through, and it is just literally sitting through on the computer and watching it and cutting down 4 or 5 hours to an hour's DVD. I tried to make it like a TV show, so it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. But you literally have to sit through it all, and and think, well, that bit's not necessary. But if you get things like some knocks or taps you can't explain, or some light anomalies, we do try and keep them in there, and we try and slow them down a little bit so you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very time consuming. I'm doing Shepton Mallet at the moment, and I've gone through about 5 hours of video, and I've cut all that down to an hour, and I'm now having to work on a second disc because it's that.
Wow. So I'm just, do you know what, guys? I'm really surprised that no one at home has asked you questions about some of your experiences. So I'm just going to do it for you. So come on, guys, can you share some of your favorite experiences?
We'll let Michelle start.
Oh, okay. I mean, a lot of my experiences, which are just hilarious, are normally at my expense anyway. People do like to be practical jokers, and they do like to make me jump. And I've always said, the living are more scary than the dead anyway. It's normally the living that make me jump and scream. So I'm normally the rough end of a practical joke normally. So, but for me, paranormal wise, the best one for me would be when we were at Gainsborough. and I stood in front of the silver room where we were picking up on a butler who was trying to close the door. So I went and put myself in the doorway, like you do, and it was caught on SLS that the stick figure and the little stick figure that was sitting on a chair of a child decided to beat me up, which I thought was quite rude, because they didn't want me in the doorway.
So when you say beat you up, did it? This energy came towards you?
Yes, it
trying
did.
to push you away and.
Yeah, they were punching me, they were kicking me, and they were basically just trying to push me out of the way to get me out of the doorway to the silver room. But unfortunately, on that occasion, it wasn't caught on film because I'm normally the one standing there filming the SLS camera. So obviously, if I'm in front of the camera, nobody at that particular time thought it might be wise to pick the camera up to film it. So unfortunately, that wasn't actually recorded. But that was amazing because I could feel the energy all around me. It was like static electricity all around me. It was amazing.
I was going to say, did you feel that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
I must say, Paul, the reason why no one was filming it is because I was holding the SLS camera, and including Linda, everyone was so amazed by what we were watching that it went out of everyone's heads completely to actually just put their phone up to record the SLS camera. Everyone was too amazed standing there watching it, because we've got the footage before where you've got the tall figure standing next to the door trying to push it and kick and push the door shut, and the little figure sitting in the chair. Well, it weren't until, as Michelle said, she went towards the door that, because they couldn't shut the door, they then started to try and attack her. And this was what everyone was just so amazed. There was about 15 people in the room all standing staring at the camera, and no one was recording it because it was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, I've got a question here for Liz, and I don't know who minds. You guys can take turns with the questions if you like. I've got a question. Yeah, just guys, don't forget to come and send your questions to these guys here. They've had lots of experience over many, many years of doing paranormal experiences. So please let us know your questions. This is a unique opportunity to ask these guys. So Liz has asked a question for my colleague mediums. Do gatekeepers let lower energies through to test if you can detect them? Would they actually let you work with spirits with loveless intentions? Is that a no, Linda? Your head is shaking.
It's a no. Our gatekeepers keep us well protected, and we always do a protection prayer before we start and when we finish.
Okay, and I kind of want to say on that, what about the entities that are already there?
Sorry, could you say that again?
So if you're going into, say, a castle and there's going to be entities or energies already there, but surely some of them by definition could be quite lower level energies.
Yeah, they just tell us to get out, and we just carry on saying, well, we're here. We deal with it as we go along, you know.
I get it. I guess in their mind, they're sitting there having their cup of tea, watching the telly, and this paranormal investigation team rock up.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we've had it. Sometimes they get a bit stroppy with us in that way. But once we let them know we're not there to harm them, and we want to get their story, that's the object of it. Yeah. It's finding their story, not just saying, oh, there is a ghost there and he's just knocked on the wall. We try to get their names, we try dates, and we do also ask for, what happened to them, their story. Yeah. And all of the team can do this. They all can connect with spirit. So, and it actually makes our job harder because, like Michelle said,
Okay, so guys, can you all hear spirit? Can you all connect with spirit?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Me, not so much. I have had things where I felt things before, like I will say to the guys truthfully, I can feel a breeze or I can feel someone tickling my hair, but I can't say I can speak to them in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
The only time something weird has ever happened to me talkie-wise was a few years before I joined MSI. I was in the toll house in Great Yarmouth, and I was with a couple of girls who were doing some spirit writing. And I don't know why I suddenly had the word Mary pop into my mind.
Paul, was you just in the pub, or was you actually investigating? Because
we was investigating this
I
whole.
wasn't sure when he said about a couple of ladies in the
pub.
pub.
No. The Courthouse is actually it's a fascinating place in Great Yarmouth.
Yeah.
And I had the word Mary scream into my head for some reason, and I mentioned this to the two girls I was with, and one of them was quite surprised because she'd just literally written on a piece of paper Mary. So that's the only time I've ever had a word pop into my head, you know, and even now you sort of think about it and think, it's a bit weird at the time. But yeah, I heard that word as clear as I'm talking to you guys now.
Like, hi, Joanne. Joe's asked a question. Do you think that Ghostbox apps for phones are genuine, or are they generating random words? Great question, Joe. Thank you.
It's a good question, Michelle. Dennis.
Yeah, some of them are good. And we have got a lot of different apps on our phones. Plus, we've got the SP7, the SP11. We've got the PostScript box, which has got a bit like an Ovilus. Yeah. So we've got a lot of different tech things that we use. And sometimes you've just got to weed out. If you ask a specific question and you get an answer to that question, and then it can carry on, and you keep getting answers, then you've got to look at it as, well, that's real high probability. You need to buy a lottery ticket. But when it just spits random words out, that's when you have to look at it objectively and say, well, okay, and you just push that one aside, because sometimes it can pick up, and the law of probability is that a word is going to come through. So I do think that some are not that they're not truthful, but they are purely random words that do come out, but you can get good answers sometimes.
Yeah, great. I guess that's a bit controversial, really, because some of these, even the actual voice boxes, have you heard them working?
Yeah, as I said, we've got the SP7 and the SP11.
Okay.
And you can, as I said, if you ask a question and it will give you an answer, you've got to remember these are scanning sometimes up to 250 to 300, 350 bands per second.
Right.
So that's scanning the FM and the AM spectrum, and you can go forward and reverse and change at different speeds as well. So for that to actually, at that second that you ask a question and that pops up with something completely random, like in the woods, and you're sitting indoors, and it's like you can pretty much, you've got to really be honest and not just grab at everything and say, oh, yes, that's paranormal. You've got to try and debunk the best way you can and be honest with yourself. And that's what we're like. As a team, we're always trying to be honest. We don't try and lie about stuff. We don't try and make stuff up, because we're not here to make money out of people. Linda, when she does the ghost investigations, it's not about making money. It's the same as when we go to people's houses and we help the people that are having problems. We go and do that, and we try and help clear their houses for them. We don't charge.
So that's a different thing altogether than doing a paranormal investigation as such, because you're working with the public. You've actually been called into a house to clear problems that are happening with people, and that is a topic, and it's a whole different world, I think. And there's a lot of people out there that charge a lot of money, and I frankly think it's disgusting. I spoke to a lady on my own experience on Saturday, and I'm not going to name names, but a gentleman asked for £1,000 to go round, and she was 97. This lady was, she was complete. Her mind was so sharp. She was absolutely. It was a privilege to talk to her. She even remembers being bombed in London in the Blitz. It's amazing, isn't it? And she's a lovely lady, but she was having some problems at home. But then I found out through the grapevine that she was going to pay someone £1,000, and for you guys to go around there and offer your services, I'm assuming you don't charge too much. You don't charge £1,000 anyway.
No, all Linda charges is, all we ask for, and as Linda's always only ever asked for, is that our fuel is covered, and that's it. We don't ask if they want to give you a little contribution and say thank you, sir, thank you very much. Here's 20 quid, have a drink. That's different. But you know, we've never. People have tried giving money to us, and we give it back to them and turn around and say no. It's only about what we do. We enjoy what we do. So if we can help someone, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, we'll come back to this topic if you don't mind, guys. So Jasmine has asked a question: do they sense weaker people, and are they more respectful? I ain't got my teeth in today. I don't know what's going on. Respectful with you, as you are not phased by things. Does that make sense? So they kind of search out people that are a little bit more sensitive, shall we say, reactive.
Yeah.
If I was a naughty spirit, I know I would, just for the the fun of it, people screaming, and you would, wouldn't you?
So, I intend on doing that when I die. I intend on coming back and tormenting the life out of everybody.
Brilliant. But I should actually say, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, Michelle and Dennis, you're partners, aren't you? So whoever goes first, look out. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So coming back to that, Linda, would you want to answer that question?
What do they sense?
Yeah.
People. Sometimes, yeah, but I mean, we're not faced by a lot of things, but then there are things that actually do make us jump sometimes. We're no different to the next person. And if you've got someone that's, sort of vulnerable or maybe a little bit weaker, then if there is something that isn't very nice or just wants to play games, they will kind of work on them first. Yeah. It just depends really, but more times than not, we just control the energies. It's as simple as that.
So I'm gonna ask a controversial question. I'm just gonna throw it out there. In the last 15 to 20 years, there's been a massive rise in the UK of paranormal, and in America and European countries, of paranormal investigation teams that are going to places. I hope you don't mind me asking this question. Do you think sometimes they can kind of upset the energies in some places? They don't necessarily. It's all about entertainment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a money-making machine.
Absolutely. So if I was wanting to go on to an investigation, what should I look for if I lived in Scotland, saying I wanted to join a paranormal team, to go to a castle? What kind of team would I look for? I'll let you answer.
Oh, you want me to? All right. Right.
I'm sensing, Dennis, you're quite passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, as I said, Linda's taught me a lot over the years, because before I met Linda, I didn't really know how to control anything. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been disturbed in a lot of ways, which has affected me now. I'm a very disturbed person now. So Linda has helped me a lot. I still can't curb my nature of what I am in the group. I'm the one that tries to scare people as much as I can, because I do believe in raising the energies. So I will play practical jokes on people. I am serious in situations where I have to be, but I find that if you can have a laugh and joke with people and set them at ease, a lot of groups, you research your group and look at what they do, look at how much money they charge, look about where they go, look about the comments that they have, and you'll be able to say, oh, well, the group that I was with, this person said this or this person did that. So, but I've been with Linda since the beginning, when it was just a group of like-minded people, and we used to have a lot of fun. And I found that it went through a stage where the group got very big and it became a lot more publicized. And then I think that's when things change. And if you stay with the smaller groups of like-minded people who just love and enjoy what they do, you will have a good time, because you get that type of people with you. Some people come on investigations and they expect to see a ghost pop up in front of them. And if that doesn't happen, then they slate you, which is why it's a good thing to stay with a smaller group of like-minded people that really enjoy what they do. And then you'll get a true evening. You won't get no people just trying to make stuff up or make noises or knock things. And so
just to go on to the back of what Dennis said there, we've been with groups in the past. Yeah. Well, certainly when I was with another team, as Dennis said, you'd have people they've been watching certain television programs and they expect things to happen straight away, and you have to try to explain to them, if anything happens, it's a complete and utter bonus. But we've also had occasions where people will just sit there all night and not do anything, and it's really, really hard
Draining,
work, you know, very hard work.
So what if they just sit still, they're going to come to them?
Basically, they will. We had investigations before in the past where they have literally sat with their arms folded and gone, well, where are they then? And
Okay,
like, well, they're not performing monkeys, you know. They're not going to turn up and stand around a load of people who are just sitting there rather bored. They want to be. I mean, if I was a ghost, I would want to be around people who are having a laugh and a giggle, because it'd be like, oh, I want to go and see what they're doing. I don't really want to spend my evenings sitting with a bunch of people going, well, this isn't very much fun, is it? So you know, keeping the energies high is just amazing, because you're going to get some, you know, fantastic evidence at the end of the day, because you know.
It's but who wouldn't want to go around exploring?
You
know, what's in that dark corner? Oh, I'm not feeling great about that. You know, Bill has asked a great question. Hi, Bill. Thanks for this question. Have you ever, during investigations, assisted sending souls over into the light? Because kind of jumping off of what I was going to say to you guys. So teams go in. Oh, you've got this, and this here. Thanks ever so much. See ya. And some of those energies, I'm assuming, would need helping over to spirit. So could you? You all want to answer that. I can feel it.
Linda can answer this one. We've been talking. Linda can answer this one.
Okay.
Because I'll drop myself in it.
Well, to be honest with you, when we do the smaller locations, or we are called into house clearances, and there is a problem there, and they would like it cleared, then yes, we will help those spirits to pass over, mainly because for some reason something's holding them back. So yes, we do that. On some of the investigations we've come under, I'm probably going to get lynched for this, but to be honest with you, if we are asked by a spirit, I don't want to be here, I want to go home, please help us, we will not turn our back. I don't know quite how else to put that, but you know, it's a very discreet thing, you know, within MSI. We will not turn our back on the spirit that has had enough. And just quickly going on to that, and it sticks in my mind, we've just done Shepton Mallet, and we did get quite a bit, but some of the activity was quite flat. It was just that we've just heard that Shepton Mallet is now closing down for tourists and what have you. And we, on one of Michelle's machines, that was recording whatever messages were coming through, and we got this message was, let us rest. That kind of made sense for us, because it was like, okay, they're shutting it down, because a lot of these are done by groups that just want to get as many people in there as they can, and it's a constant thing. And it's a bit like saying, you know, if you was a spirit and they wanted you to perform every Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, you would soon get fed up with it. So we are very discreet. We do not get rid of everything. It's only if we are asked, and there's got to be a reason behind it, and that would be the reason being they would give us their story. And it can get very emotional sometimes, very, very emotional.
That's a wonderful thing that you do. That really is. Because a lot of people. I'm just wondering if Richard could play some of the clips if he's got the video. Oh, brilliant. We've got a few clips that we're going to show, guys. So do not adjust your set. You're going to see some clips from some of the investigations. Oh, brilliant. Okay. So we, as they come up, you might want to explain what's going on, guys, and where.
Can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
No, can't see nothing. No, not yet. No, not yet. We're still seeing the comments box, Richard. But okay, no worries. We're just waiting for those clips to load up, guys, and
okay.
Here we go. So okay.
If not, we'll shut all these doors, you'll get locked in. If not, we'll shut all these doors, you'll get locked in. If not, we'll shut all these doors, you'll get locked in.
Right, that clip was taken at Shepton Mallet about 3 weeks ago. It was during the first vigils we were doing, and I was just panning around with a camera. And unfortunately, if I'd have left the clip a little bit longer, I actually do say on camera, "Oh, is there someone down there?" But obviously, I had to trim the clip down to get it sent over. I think it's one of the best light anomalies I've ever caught. It looks like a sort of a spider's web, so to speak, and it just sort of floats around, then just disappears into fresh air, so to speak. I was actually filming Christian, who's the guy you can see down in the bottom there.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the screen, it's like a very thin, spidery light, and I think it's one of the best light anomalies I've ever certainly caught on camera.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. And there's also oh, there you go, Richard zooming in for us. There it is. It just kind of caught it there. Hopefully you guys can see it at home. When you see these things, do you feel privileged to have seen them, this phenomenon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it to me, it's what makes the night worthwhile. You know, I know sometimes we've done investigations and you think to yourself, well, nothing happened all night. And then you go home and watch the videos and you think, I can't remember that happening, or I can't remember seeing that, or I can't remember hearing that. And that's to me is what makes the night so interesting. You know, it's the unknown of what you're going to see on the videos. Yeah.
I've just seen an orb right in front of you. I don't know if you guys saw that on the camera. I've just seen an orb fly past you. You didn't capture that one. But there's also, Richard, a picture as well taken in a window, which has got this doesn't look the best. Look at that, guys. Look at that. If that doesn't make your hairs down the back of your neck, I don't know what does. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Richard, but can you see that the eyes, the kind of eyes are black? Or it could just be obviously because it's the energy, etc., etc. Ah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and that's quite high up, guys, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, that's a bedroom window.
It's a bedroom window. Yeah. So he was tall.
Very, yes.
Very.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Was there no balcony or flat
No,
surface?
it went straight out onto fields.
Oh wow.
There was not even any houses anywhere around it. That
So
was
basically, this guy was floating.
well, he was outside the bedroom window. This was my friend's house, and he was having a lot of issues in his house. And it seemed to, when we went there, we found out that it centered around his bedroom. So I had done my first week, went around, and then Michelle and Linda went around, and Michelle was standing in the doorway with Linda, clicking pictures into the bedroom, and then that's the picture that was shown. Because people say, "Oh, it's your reflection." Well, it was these two females that took the picture, so how can it be their reflection when that's clearly a man? First of all, they said it was me, and I said, "Well, I never took the picture. Two females took the picture."
Yeah, absolutely. Did you actually see the place as you were taking the picture, or was it just taking pictures?
No.
No, I was just taking pictures because we had a K2 on the bed, which was going off at the same time. And I was just randomly taking pictures like I do on most investigations. I just take pictures, obviously ask, spirit permission first. And yes, I was very lucky to capture that photograph, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to ask you, but we'll ask when we come back. We're going to have a little break now, but guys, don't forget to share. We'd love to have your interaction tonight. Guys, you've got a paranormal team here. Ask away. Ask any questions that you would like to know from these guys. It'll be brilliant. Okay, I think we're just about ready to go for a break, and we'll be back very soon, guys.
The SPTV Divine Guidance Oracle Pack, a unique blend of inspiration and artistic beauty. Our captivating set of 78 cards combines the power of ancient archetypes, celestial guidance, and the essence of life itself to provide you with a unique tool for self-discovery. clarity, and transformation, all lovingly housed within an exclusive rigid box. The pack includes a booklet that delves into every card in detail, some of which carry dual meanings for deeper interpretation. The booklet also features 8 distinctive card spread layouts. Among these treasures, you'll discover 22 major arcana, 9 main archangels, 4 elements, and 40 life cards, each a work of art, radiating beauty and delivering profound messages that resonate deeply within your being. The SPTV Divine Guidance Pack, where beauty meets enlightenment. Pre-order today and unlock the extraordinary wisdom that awaits you. To be among the pioneers in experiencing our forthcoming collection and to reserve your pack in advance, as well as to access more details, including a sample audio description, kindly visit sptv.uk/cards.
Tonight from 8 p.m, Bill Hughes and his guest will be demonstrating their mediumship abilities with free readings to our viewers.
And welcome back, everybody, here on Spiritual Talk, here on SPTV. We have got a brilliant guest tonight. We've got MSI Paranormal Investigation team with us. So anything you've ever wanted to know about what happens on an investigation, let us know. Ask away, guys. This is your opportunity. Dennis Heffernan, he's just coming back in, so we won't make it too obvious, Dennis. We're just sliding back in gracefully. There you go.
Nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed. Now, I've got a question here from MJ. What happens when you try to move spirit along and they won't budge? Because that is something I've experienced as well.
Yeah, we have experienced that, haven't we, Dennis?
Yeah. You normally see a different side to me then, because I work with a team of people that are in spirit, and they all seem to work in different ways, and they do different jobs. So normally when we come across people, they normally sort of take over. Sometimes I lose time and don't know what's happened. I've frightened people, and I've been fighting with Linda's brother, who is a bodybuilder, and as you can see, I'm not a big person, and there was a room full of people and I was climbing all over him on the floor and saying it's mine, because he had something, an attachment with him that wouldn't leave. And it used to be that when these things come along, they would just take over, and I would do stuff and wake up afterwards looking at everyone looking at me and going,
so hang on a minute. I'm just going to, because you've just gone from 0 to 100 here. So just people understand. So they take over your body?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah.
It's a collective.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Can you explain a bit about that process so we understand?
Well, from what I understand myself is normally from what other people have told me. They've took pictures of me, and my appearance seems to change on camera. It doesn't look like me, so they call it morphing. My voice will change. I become stronger than what you would normally imagine a person of my size could be, especially when that shocked a lot of people that night and scared 2 people that night as well.
Isn't that transfiguration, Dennis?
Well, yeah, normally when people do transfiguration, they just sit there though, but it doesn't seem to work like that with me.
Right.
Yeah, so I move around and I talk and I do stuff, and it just seems to work, and I can open up, as they call them, light portals, and I also send an energy burst, which people refer to as their dragons and things like that. So energy balls.
Yeah.
Which people can actually feel and sense, and yeah, so it's strange, and it's mainly what I get from other people, because a lot of it is I then sort of come out of it and go, what did I do this time?
So I was going to ask, Linda, where are you at this point?
I'm right next to him.
Okay. So what happens then? Are you just taking someone away? So you talked about an attack. Oh, I just lost the connection, I think. You guys, we just lost your picture. We'll just talk to you, Linda. What are they trying to We'll keep going.
We're still here.
What? Oh, you can still hear us. Okay, that we're back in a sec. So, what is happening to Dennis? Do you think in that moment, Linda?
Well, we put my teeth back in.
It's catching.
You work with when you went with a bunch of spirit, it's like a collective energy force that comes in. We are so protected anyway when we go into these places. So being a collective energy, it's not one spirit, and it is they're higher realmed energies. So if we can't get something that should not be there and is causing maybe not harm, but maybe causing things that shouldn't be there, and it's not going to budge. So we then cool those down, and it works through Dennis most of the time. And he has no recollection afterwards what he's done. But you know, we don't send them, as people call it, heaven, hell, and earth, whatever. There's no such thing like that for us. They're just taken back to wherever they need to go, so that they will not cause any further problems wherever we are at that particular time.
Yeah.
But it's true, you know, we do use dragons. We all have dragons that seem to be with us, and sometimes they're there. And if it's not a being of any kind, but it's just a bad, maybe a negative energy, you will come up against them, because there is so much negativity in people. So there's going to be negativity in spirit. So with those kind of things, we can just use a dragon. We could just use whatever means we have to actually disperse it. And you know, but when it comes to something that is talking to us and refuses to budge and is threatening, and it does happen, then Dennis is with us, and then it just happens. So when that happens, we're there to protect him, and we've never been let down since. You know, we've never not, touch wood, it doesn't ever happen, but we have never not been able to clear anything.
Okay, that's good, because that's guys, you've all frozen, but I know you're in the background. I know you can hear us, so we can still interact.
Yeah.
So, the question's asked a great question. Were you ever called to do an exorcism for a person? Have you ever experienced such a thing?
Linda has, we haven't.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. An exorcism, but not like you would see on The Exorcist, or what you see in films that are kind of made to be as they are. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's we having to deal with something that may have, you know, attached to somebody, but is not prepared to let that person go, and is draining the life out of them, so to speak. And it can be a battle. We just use the light, we use our angels, we use what we can. And yes, I have had a couple of battles like that and have succeeded. But it's nothing like you see in the horror films and things like that. It's done. It can be hard. It can be very emotional. It can be very draining, because we're using every piece of energy that we can, you know, to help this person that is under the influence of something that may be a negative energy.
Yeah, we can see you now, guys. So we're all good. Okay. Yeah. So you're there. So okay, so it is slightly different to what people expect. Kind of shame, really. I kind of like the idea of someone levitating with their head spinning around.
We'd be out the door probably.
It would make good. It would make good telly, absolutely. But unfortunately, these things are Hollywood. You know, they get hold of these things and they over dramatize it. But I also wanted another question I've got as well, guys, for you. Now, Michelle, you told me about a little story. Oh, look, we have a visitor. That's very unusual on Spiritual Talk. We had an animal communicator on our last interview. That would have been perfect. Oh, people can't see him on screen, but Linda's dog is just coming over towards you, just in case you suddenly see a dog. Okay, so Michelle, I want to ask you this question. Oh, is he there yet? I don't think he's there. No, he's still not quite. Michelle, I wanted to ask you a question about the child that wasn't a child, that was masquerading as a child.
Yeah, I mean, many times on investigations, we do come across so many children, unfortunately, that are in the spirit world. But on occasions, we do get spirits show themselves as children, but they are not children. So they kind of show themselves as a child, so you lower your guard. But with help from my guides that I work with, they've shown me how I can identify which is a child and which is not a child. And for me, it's the eyes. They don't make eye contact with me. And they don't show me their ears. I don't get to see their ears. And it's just how they hold their head. So they'll tilt it just slightly to one side. And for me, that's my warning sign that that is not a child. And I've seen it a couple of times on different investigations where somebody in the group has gone, oh, there's a child over there. Bless you. And I've had to step in and go, that's a really good connection, but that's not a real child, unfortunately. That's a spirit posing as a child. So yeah, they can be tricky to identify, but once you get the hang of it, you can spot them.
Sorry about the sneeze. It's cold and flu time over here in the UK. Everyone's got the sneezes. We've got a great question from Ed P. Question for Dennis: how would you advise an employer to help staff at a workplace that's haunted?
The first one I've got for Ed P would be not for them to tell stories to each other, and because you can find that that sometimes it's not being an actual spirit. Sometimes when you talk about something enough or give enough energy to something, it actually takes on a life of its own. It actually becomes energy itself. So it's like going into a room and for 20, 30 years, you're talking about someone who died in that room. Well, an energy can manifest itself and then it takes on its own life force. Yeah. So the more people talk about it, the more it appears. So a good thing would be to, stop telling stories about and telling experiences about what happened in places. He could buy such as nobody's got any on. No, charms such as in tiger's eye or obsidian or something like that. So something. A talisman of some type to help protect his staff. If he was a manager or a boss, then he could look after his staff that way and buy them presents, that would protect them.
Do you actually use any personal protection, Dennis? What's especially the experiences that you have sometimes?
I haven't used personal protection for quite some years.
But you wear tiger's eye.
But I wear tiger's eye. I use obsidian, tiger's eye, and that's really about it for me that I use.
Yeah. So there was something else I wanted to come back to. Again, when you're coming across spirit that are masquerading, what is the point of that? Why do they do that?
Basically so you get your guard is down. You kind of lower not your protection, but you kind of lower yourself a little bit. If you're not fully aware of what's going on, they can jump in and take over. So yeah, you do have to be fully on guard. So they're quite clever little things, really. They're tricky little terrors.
I've had that experience where I've had a coat hanger thrown at me, which was believed to have been a child, but it wasn't a child. So I know that experience exists, and it's a real phenomenon. And it can be quite scary for people. Okay, we got another question here. Did you ever feel afraid or in danger? Oh gosh, I can't get my words out tonight. It is usually spirit who did did, was it level things in the
Evil.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's my text type reading. Evil in this world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can probably answer the first part of that question. I've done several investigations, but I can't honestly say I've felt afraid or in danger. There has been times when you're sort of walking around a building a bit blind, you know, and you sort of lose a bit of sense of direction, perhaps. But I've never really sort of felt scared or in danger or anything. I certainly not me anyway.
Is that more because of the type of person that you are, though, Paul? You're quite a logical thinking gentleman. You're not
quite possibly, I suppose. I've had things before when I've had sort of like the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. And even when I've seen something I can't explain, I've not really been frightened per se, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, how about you guys? Same question to all of you, actually. That's a great
Linda
question.
needs to answer one, I think.
I check it back at you, Dennis, in regards to when you say things that maybe do evil things, you know, in the past or in the world. And it depends on how dangerous they make you feel. Yeah. But a lot of the time we end up laughing and that's how we get through it. So Dennis, you can tell the story what you did at the back of a church in a farmer's field where you were trying to...
Is that for this show?
I'm sure
is that kind of show? Anyway,
okay. You know what I mean.
Yeah. We was doing an investigation at an old church in the middle of nowhere, and there was fields all around, and you know, you have the smokers in the group that like to go outside to have a chuff. And me being me, as I always do, I waited for them to get all settled, standing outside in a group talking, and then I went round the other side of the church, through the hedges, and I came up behind a set of trees that were probably about 12 feet away from him, and I started popping my head out from behind the tree, and then someone went, something over there. Do you see that? I keep seeing a head pop out from the tree. Where is everyone? They're like, it's just us out here. And then they all started getting a bit closer, and as they got within about 6 feet of me, I literally jumped out from behind the tree, screaming and waving my arms all over, frightened the living daylights out of all of them. They all, one of them fell on the floor, and the rest running and left them, and it was hilarious. It was, so yeah.
On a serious note, though, has there been phenomenon seen that wasn't captured? Because that, I imagine some spirits are like, do you know what?
Yeah.
I'll wait till their backs are turned, then I'm going to do this.
Funny you should say that. It was at Shepton Mallet, and I was going around with the SLS camera with a member of the public, and I had my dictaphone, and the lady was looking in the cells, and she was like, "Oh, look, there's a figure in the cell." And as soon as I was like, "Oh, you can see them," they'd disappear. So as per what a lot of prisoners are like, they don't like to be caught on camera. Yeah. So every time they realised that the device that we was holding could see them, they kept disappearing. Well, as we were going along, the number twos just walking along, the camera the battery life started to die on it. Yeah. And I had the dictaphone in the cell, and the lady went, "Oh, this is flashing up that it's died." And I went, "Don't worry, we'll charge it when we go back at the break." Well, on the dictaphone, the only EVP I got for the whole night said "salted," which is a typical word that prisoners use, and it's a modern day word. It's not an old, and to come up with no one else, just the two of us standing in, and my hand was actually in the cell, and you actually heard it, the whisper, "salted." It couldn't be seen.
Brilliant. Also, I forgot to ask you guys, what does MSI stand for?
Medium Spiritual Investigators into the Paranormal.
Brilliant. Have you ever what's the most unusual request you've been asked to do? And there's something I want to come back to as well, because your equipment's also been used to save a house, Dennis, isn't it?
Yes, that was an investigation that myself, Linda, and a former member used to be on, and a friend of ours. And it was at an old barn conversion, lovely place. the house in history had been burnt down probably about 45 years before, and had been rebuilt and all the wiring had been done. But unbeknownst to the new owners, not all the wiring had been done. And I was walking around with a K2 meter, and I walked through a set of doorways, and the K2 meter shot right up to red. And well, I stepped back and it went back down to green, stepped in, and it was unshielded electrics.
Wow.
In an add-on bathroom, you could actually feel the heat in the wall. And we told the owners when they came back later on that evening, they got an electrician out, and the electrician said if this would have been left anymore, it would have just caught fire. So it saved the whole house. So a K2 meter actually saved the person's house. They were so so glad with us. They actually tried giving us money, didn't they, Linda?
Yeah.
Because we saved their home.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Brilliant. But what's the most unusual thing you've had to do, would you say? I'm going to ask that for all four of you. What's been your most unusual experience? Or Michelle, can you go first?
Oh, don't give me a lot of time to think about that. My most unusual, crumbs. Yeah, if somebody else left go first, I'm going to have to rack my brain on that one.
I think probably one of the most unusual things for me was the first time I saw something I couldn't explain, which was Peterborough Museum in Cambridgeshire, which if you've never been there is actually a fascinating place to visit. I was sitting at the bottom of the stairs looking up, and there was 3 other girls with me, and we were just sort of sitting there talking, and at the top of the stairs there's a doorway which leads to an old Victorian operating theatre, and we was just standing there or sitting there talking, and it was like a white shadow walked out of this doorway and across the landing, and your brain sort of does 2 things at the same time there. The first bit is going, nah, move along, nothing to see. Yeah. And the second bit is going, what the flipping heck was that? But the bit I was really interested in was when I turned around to the people who were sitting beside me and said, please tell me you all saw that. They all verified what I saw, which to me was, when you have people seeing the same thing, I find that very, very interesting. So yeah, that was one of the sort of the weirdest things that happened to me. And as I said, it's the first time I've actually seen something I can't explain. So that will live with me forever, that memory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, right. For me, it was at the Elizabethan House in Great Yarmouth, and we were doing an investigation there. It was my first time there, and we happened to be in one of the bedrooms, and I was facing the mirror. Somebody was doing some mirror scrying, and I was standing in the background watching. And it then became very apparent that I had no head. Everyone could see my body and my shoulders, but I had no head. I was completely headless. And I was standing there looking at myself and thinking, I don't actually have a head. I couldn't see my own head, and everybody that was with me, they couldn't see my head either. It was the most bizarre thing ever, and it was, that was very strange.
So logically, what could that have been?
For me, I would personally, I felt like that maybe a spirit had overshadowed me, and maybe they had lost their head with the guillotine, maybe in the past. But yeah, it was the most bizarre thing in the world, or they just didn't want me to see them, so they tried to, cover my face and my eyes. So it was most bizarre. It baffled me for ages. It still does.
So could you actually see them? Could you see what, or just was you kind of blind?
I could see. I could see, but I just couldn't see my head in the mirror. And I was standing there going, yes, it's still there. But there was no head on my shoulders.
Wow. MJ's asked, were you in a portal, do you think?
Oh, quite possibly. I've not actually ever thought of that as a possible reason as to losing my head. But yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, that's interesting concept. How about you, Dennis?
Okay, I did have a really good one, which actually involved around work, but something happened a couple of months ago. I woke up out of my sleep, to see a child, probably 2 to 3 years, anyway, say between 2 and 4 years of age, as slightly see-through, standing right next to the bed. And I sort of woke up in a startle and was like, as in my normal way, go away. You know, I'm trying to sleep. Well, the next night or the night after, Michelle, well, I was fast asleep and she was woken up by singing from a little child. And when she woke up, she thought it was her daughter. Well, she lifted her head up and saw a child standing on my side of the bed looking at me, singing to me. So when she spoke to me about it, we both described the same child, even though I hadn't told her what the girl looked like, just what had happened. We both see and describe the same child. Well, okay. About a week later, completely out of the blue, we decided to go to Cromer. Now, I haven't walked through Cromer. I've been to the pier a couple of times, but that's it. Michelle and I haven't been there together. And it was just completely out of the blue. We just jumped in the car and drove out there.
Okay.
So we parked up and we were going to see the rock shop. Thought we'd go there. Well, the app on the phone told us to walk one way, but we both decided to ignore that and walk a different way. And we walked past this shop and it was like, well, we'll have to go in there on the way back. So we went to the rock shop and we found our way back to walk back out of our way again to go back into the shop and walked straight in the shop, had a look around, had a really nice feeling to the shop, didn't it? And it smelled nice. It sold bits and pieces. I walked past a doorway and I said to Michelle, oh, it's got a really strong energy coming out of that room. And the guy that was serving behind the counter looked at us. And then Michelle went over there and she went, yeah, he said, what reason did you say that? I went, well, it's just, he said, would you like to have a look in there? So we were like, yeah, okay then. So he switched the light on and pulled back the curtains and let us in there. And it was the medium's room where a medium goes in that shop to do readings. Well, we'd never been in the shop before. And he said, this shop has lots happening in here. He said, my family, my in-laws live above the shop. And it was a really old part of Cromer. And it dates right the way back to the 1700s. And he said, well, what do you know, he said, do you get a feeling by this door? So he showed us, and we both said, you get the feeling of wanting to be drawn down into the basement. And he said, I would love to show you. He said, because everyone says that. But he said, I can't because the shop's open. So we bought a couple of bits, said, thank you very much, and left. Yeah. Well, I literally got about 6 to 8 feet away, and all of a sudden this wave of emotion, like I was leaving home for the first time. And I almost broke down in tears in the middle of the street in front of people. And I said, I've got to go back in the shop. So I just walked back in there, and the man said, you know, are you all right? Because he said he could see I was physically like I was going to cry. And he said, go. I said, I need to go back in that room. And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I went in, sat down, he got me some water, and he was talking to Michelle. Well, I then started getting names, and all of a sudden it came out that the name that I said to him, he said, did you see the picture in the window out the front?
The name was linked to the shop.
And the name was linked to the shop. And we said, no. So he took us outside. We looked at the picture, and I've got pictures on my phone. And there was upstairs in the living quarters above, you could see a picture of a lady and 2 children. And one of the child was both Michelle and I looked at each other, looked at him and went, that's the child. Wow. And I've actually got a picture of the little girl on my phone. From the picture, I took a picture of it, and it was, I honestly believe that she came to us, and where we were totally out of the blue and never been there before, it was like we took her home, and he just couldn't believe it. It was, yeah. So
it was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I could. You know, the next question was going to be, do you think you bring some of these spirits home with you?
Yeah, well, I think she found us somewhere else, and we had to take her, because we had never been to Cromer before together, and we'd never walked that way ever before, and it was totally off the cuff that we went there. I honestly do believe that we had to take her back home to her house, and he told us that there is the medium son has always been able to speak to children, speak to spirit. And he walks past that shop every day and waves at the lady who's standing in the window looking out.
Oh.
And we honestly believe that was her looking for her daughter.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. You
Yeah,
put both together. That is very nice. Yeah. So we're going to go to a few more clips that we've got from other investigations. So, guys, if you'd like to have a look, and Dawny's asked a question, I'll come back to you in a minute, Dawny, on that, because I want to add a twist to that. So it should be any minute now. You should see some clips from previous investigations. I believe there might be one from Rougham Control Tower. Well, this is Shepton Mallet Prison.
What? The door started moving. No shit.
This was a voice, wasn't it,
It
guys?
started creaking and it's come forward slightly.
What happened there is the young lady in question. I was actually walking away from her, and she suddenly went, "Oh my God!" And I went, "Well, what's up?" And she went, "That door has just opened by itself." And typical, the camera was facing the other way.
Yeah, it started creaking and it's
she was actually very, very startled by that. And first thing she said, "Oh, I wonder if that was just me walking past," and the door just moved. But those doors, I think Dennis will verify, very, very heavy. So it was just the fact that she was really, really startled, which is why I sort of spun around very, very quickly there.
It started creaking and it's come forward slightly.
I don't think there's any reason why she should lie, but she was very, very jumpy with that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely can feel something with that. Yeah, is there another clip there, Richard? There's another one coming up as well. Oh, wow, look at that.
Again, that is Shepton Mallet. It was only by chance I saw that, because it happens so quickly, hence why it's very, very slow at the moment. But it looks like there's sort of three lights parallel to each other that sort of disappear into one.
Yeah.
And again, another fantastic light anomaly, which I can't explain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, and this was Shepton Mallet. Yeah, I don't think there's any more, Richard, is there? That's a lot. Okay, but thank you for that. Yeah, it was awesome. So I wanted to come back to, there was a question that was asked by Dawny, I believe, but I wanted to twist on it in terms of, I know we spoke about the voice boxes earlier, Dawny. She said the question is, do spirit boxes really work? Well, we kind of talked about that earlier. Can they speak through it? So I want to add on to that. If someone is looking to buy one for their, whether it's for their own investigations or just out of curiosity, is there anything in terms of budget wise? Because they can be really expensive, can't they, guys?
Yeah, I mean, Michelle likes apps. They work, don't they? Some of the apps she's got, and they're cheap enough. Some of them are very cheap. But then some of the boxes that we've got, you've got the SP11 and the SP7. The SP11 is the more expensive one out of the two, and that you're looking at probably about £120 new.
Well, because that's a lot more realistic in terms of when they first come out. There was people paying £4,000 to £5,000.
Yeah. I mean, our most reliable one that we do use is the SP7, and we use that a lot when we do the Estes method. So we do get some good results on that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So I hope that's answered your question, Tony. Get yourself an SP11 or a phone app, okay, and have some fun with that. It's probably a bit cheaper to go phone app first, isn't it, guys? Are they quite expensive on phone apps?
They're about £8 or £9.
About £8 or £9, yeah. They kind of average around that. But obviously, you do have to be a bit careful because some are just for pure entertainment. So kind of do your research.
Here's another great question, by the way. So a lot of people report of feeling cold spots in their house and bits and pieces. This one's for you, Linda. I can see you sitting there. I'll just want to bring you in on this one, Linda. Melody, hi Melody. She's asked, how do we know if we have a spirit in our home?
Oh, crikey, I've loads in mine. So I think sometimes it's like when things start to maybe move and it's just you in the house.
Yeah.
Or you might start to hear things. And it could well be that maybe a loved one is just trying to get your attention. Yeah. And you're not hearing them. So then there's agitation with the spirit. So what they will do is move things that you think you're losing your mind. Again, like you said, cold spots. And a feeling this is someone sort of sometimes like you kind of shiver in certain areas and you go into a part, and a lot of it is you just know, you just sense it, but you can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get very uncomfortable with not being able to understand if they get this feeling that they're not alone. How do they deal with it? So it can be a little bit scary sometimes. And then, so the best thing is if you think you have a spirit in your home, then call MSI.
Love that. And how do we get hold of you?
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
We've all got a Facebook page as well. And, they can find, and also on Facebook, we have got lots of videos and lots of photos taken from past investigations that you can go on and look at all the photos that are still on there and just see what we have captured over the years as well.
Oh, great.
Ideally, go on, Michelle, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, going back to Melody's question, I was going to say sometimes all spirit want is just acknowledgement that you know that they're actually there. So sometimes just saying hello, I'm aware that you're here is sometimes all they need anyway. They just want acknowledgement that we know that they're there.
Then they'll leave you alone. Yeah,
absolutely. So they're not all malevolent. They're not all that they need moving on. Some of them could potentially be loved ones as well, family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes we misinterpret them as being something that shouldn't be there when it could just be a loved one. Julia's asked, you find a really expensive ones. So I believe Julie's talking about the boxes. Homemade boxes or made by Frank's, I've got to pronounce this properly, Scumpton, who made the original box named the Frank's box. Okay, thank you for that. So Julie, you're an expert with communication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so could you, I'm going to ask Julie a question here on Spiritual Talk. What do you recommend then for someone starting out? So we'll look out for that. What do you recommend? It'd be really great if you let us know for someone especially starting out that are really interested. Yeah, Frank's box. Mary's asked, have the group ever done, hi Mary, have the group ever done an old hospital?
I have with a previous group. We investigated an old hospital in, I think it was Leicester, if memory serves me, and I think we went in there literally just a few weeks before they knocked it all down. Wow. To be honest, it was one of those nights where I can't recall anything happening, to be honest, but yes, I have done a hospital.
Yeah,
you mentioned earlier, when you're sort of walking around in the dark, and it can get a little bit nervy sometimes. It was just one of those places, again, we went into absolutely blind. But yeah, it was a strange place to investigate, but it was a long time ago now, and I can't really remember much happening there, to be honest. But yes, I have been to a hospital.
Yeah, because there's an old mental health hospital in Norwich that I don't fancy that one. It's an old Victorian one. I'd rather not walk around there. But good luck, guys. Isn't it? What's that? I missed that.
Thorpe Hospital.
It is, absolutely. They turned a part of it into flats. I won't be surprised if you get a few phone calls from that. So, and also the old
bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experiences with us. We didn't actually get to hear Linda's.
No.
Come on, Linda. What's been your favourite experience before we say goodbye?
Favourite experience?
Well, in terms of most unusual, one that's really stuck in your memory.
I would say going back quite a long time, when there was a very nice entity in a church as such that was abandoned, And it's standing there with a group of people and listening to a church breathe, and you could feel the walls going in and out. And it's one of those things where you think, hang on, am I imagining this, or am I losing my mind over it? But I wasn't the only person. And something not very nice happened after that, which I really don't want to go into on here. But it does stick with me, because to think of a building that's breathing, and then when you come outside, the door slams shut behind you. So it was something that kind of sticks with me a little bit, I think. And I still now try to think, was it my imagination, or did I actually feel and see and hear the breathing of the church?
Wow, the breathing of the church.
Yeah, that was a very not such a nice thing, but it is a lasting memory, that one.
It's got to be our last question. Christine's asked, where are they from? Where are they? Oh, sorry. So where are you guys based? I'm so sorry. I was getting excited then.
I'm in Nashville. Paul is, where are you, Paul?
I'm a little village called Weeting, which is on the Norfolk-Suffolk border.
So you're predominantly based in East Anglia, really, guys.
We are, yeah.
I know you do a lot of investigations in and around the UK, because I get to see the adverts coming up, and you've had some great ones over the years that I've seen. If you could go one more question before we go, sorry, Richard, where would you like to investigate?
America.
Okay. Says it all. Okay.
There you go. No, just very quickly, it's a bugbear, because we watch the groups going in there, investigators going in, and they say, yes, it's haunted, yes, it's demonic, and all of this, and then walk away. And I've watched a few families lose their home on screen, how much they lose. And it is very frustrating, because why don't you attempt to try and see if you can move the spirit on?
But I think it's got to be fair. It's always fear-based, though, isn't it? And not knowing enough knowledge. Not knowing
possibly, possibly. But it's, it's heartbreaking when you see a family that have lost so much because they can't live in the house with absolute fear. And I'm not the only one. My team as well have all said the same thing. We wish we could go and clear a house if that was the case, because not everything is demonic. Not everything is. It could just be they're so angry because no one is listening to them, no one is talking to them.
Absolutely.
And it inspire from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we need to get off, because we got the wonderful Bill coming up next. Stay tuned for Bill and his guests are about to come on.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I just want to say thank
you
to both Linda, Michelle, Paul and Dennis. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your stories. Thank you for coming on Spiritual Talk, and thank you everybody for watching at home. Don't go anywhere, because Bill's on, and I'm back in 2 weeks with Richard Stuttle. We're going to be working as well, hopefully, so look forward to that. So we'll see you very soon, guys. Take care for now, and have a lovely weekend.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.